What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files Freestyle Edition and our first session of 2023. Happy 2023, everybody. Yeah. I hope you all had a great holiday season. Our special guest today, Heath Hussar,
how's it going, guys?
is with us today. Well, happy to have you.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
How was your holiday season?
It was really nice. It was pretty relaxing. We just went down to San Diego for a couple days, and
Who's we?
me, my girlfriend, and a couple friends.
A couple friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you guys do?
We just rented like a little beach house and walked along the beach for 3 days. Got my steps in.
Got your steps in?
Yeah. They got a little theme park right there on the water. Pretty cute.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's nice.
It's a good time. And then just got back yesterday.
Did you do like what holiday do you celebrate, or is it Christmas? Are you a Christmas guy?
Yeah, I'm a big Christmas guy.
Big Christmas guy.
Yeah.
What did you do for Christmas?
I went to Florida for the last time.
Ever?
Yeah, that's where I was born and raised. And my parents just retired and moved to Tennessee. And my brother and his wife are following them, so they're moving to Tennessee also. So they got their house all sold, and then we did one last hoorah in Florida, and I saw my grandparents. And then they're gonna be going up to Tennessee, and I'll never be back to Florida, I don't think.
Ever?
I don't see a point.
I've never really been. Yeah, I've never thought.
The
you know where I want to go?
humidity?
Florida. Like I've been to Florida, and I'm sure I'll go back. You know, I want to have fun in Miami. Like I've never.
You get about 2 days in Miami, and that's a wrap. That's all you need. And then
I feel like I need someone from Miami to really show me.
Yeah,
A good Miami time.
It's
I've had
very,
an okay time in Miami once.
you need to have like connections in Miami. I realized, and I do not have that.
Everyone has a cousin in Miami.
Not me. No, I went. The first time I went to Miami, it was like an impromptu trip I took with my buddy after my fiance at the time had cheated on me, and we're like, let's go to Miami and like just get away.
That's what everybody
And that was like
usually
a
does.
terrible idea because we were like two dudes with absolutely no connections who like didn't have a ton of money to blow, and even if we did, we weren't gonna blow it on bottle service. You know, like we weren't gonna do that.
Right.
So we literally did nothing. I felt like an even bigger loser.
I was gonna say.
It made me feel
Yeah, I feel like
absolutely
Miami is one of
worse.
the worst cities to be distraught in.
Yeah,
like
it was-
Miami and Vegas.
It wasn't
strike me
even
as,
like that sunny. Like, it was a real. It really soured me to Miami.
But if you find fun, it is a good time.
Yeah, but also for all our Florida residents listening to this show,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I love Florida.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
Yeah.
lovely, and maybe
Justice
one
for
of you all
Florida.
will enlighten me to the glamour that is.
Do you like
Florida.
airboat rides, gator hunting,
Gator hunting.
slogging in the swamps?
None of that really
Ah, well then you probably won't like it. Then.
appeals to me. You know.
I have
That's
some
all
suggestions.
activities I
I'll
grew
make
up
you an
doing.
itinerary.
Okay.
Yeah, depends on where you want to go.
All right. Well,
yeah.
we have a lot to get into. Before we do some housekeeping notes, on Thursdays Going Deeper, Dr. Maya Shankar returns to the Viall Files. Also, wrote a blurb on my book, so I'm partial to her. But we're bringing Dr. Shankar back because she's for those of you who don't know, she's a behavioral scientist. She worked for the Obama White House. She works for Google now. She has an amazing podcast called The Slight Change of Plans. She's had some really incredible guests on there, but she'll be with us to talk about all things New Year's resolutions. How do we change our behaviors? Like, it's one thing to like set a New Year's resolution, but how do we actually accomplish that? So she has some pretty insightful things. So we'll get into that. It'll be a fun episode. So that's on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do we have some Bachelor Tea to get out of the way?
Yeah.
Heath,
Okay.
participate.
I'll try
As
my
much as
best.
you
Ready?
want.
Yeah.
You ready for this? Okay. Tyler Cameron and Kristin Cavalleri, potential couple. Obviously, they did that campaign back in April for her jewelry line, and
Yeah.
they were canoodling and whatever, but everyone was saying, oh, it's just for a photo shoot. She even said she definitely hired him for the project to bring some buzz.
Sure.
But they spent New Year's Eve together, and it was actually in Jason Tartick's Instagram stories.
Uh-huh.
There was videos of them. They had dinner together. They were dancing. They were touching. And Jason took the story
Touching how?
down. Just kind of like it, not like I don't know,
Okay.
like more than a friend would. I think. Also, you're not like dancing and being. I don't know. There was definitely vibes.
Okay.
And then Jason took it down
Oh.
before it expired, like
Oh.
before the 24
Oh,
hours.
he
of
How
was-
him
he
long
was
taking
was
getting
it
down.
up though?
I
Like,
don't-
did he take it down in like 30 seconds, or was it like the 18th hour?
Yeah, unclear. But potential couple.
Maybe. I don't know. I think Jason and Tyler are decent friends.
So
And
Tyler definitely gave him permission to post that.
Well, I mean, I just feel
could've
like it
been a
could just be
drunk-
like a group
Oh, true.
setting.
Drinking.
Like, Tyler could be there because of Jason, and then
Mhm.
like Kristin. I think they all live in Nashville, so I feel like that's a fairly.
But you're not
tight
like sitting
community,
next to each other at dinner and dancing and being like, yeah, it's not.
So I guess it just comes down to around the room. Do you think eventually Kristin Cavalleri and Tyler Cameron will become Instagram official at any point?
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
I'm gonna vote no. Amanda?
I'm gonna say only
And
one of just.
It has to go beyond the
think.
Pete and Emrata bullshit relationship. They can't be like seen at a Knicks game pretending to be in love. Like they have to be full
something?
on, and it's got to like. We need like 5 Instagram we're in love photos.
5?
It can't just be
it's gotta
one.
be multiple
it's got to be like an
infeed.
official launch.
Okay.
Yeah.
When
Like,
did you first launch your girlfriends?
5 years ago.
Yeah, but like how long into the relationship?
I mean, a while.
I think it was probably maybe like 3 months,
Okay.
and then she started like being in my videos and
Gotcha.
on my social media.
Gotcha.
So is it more of a soft launch?
No, it was a hard launch. Just put her right in a video. I was like, "Hey guys, this is my girlfriend."
This is my girl. Okay,
Yeah.
you're like, all right. It wasn't like
There was
figure out who this person is.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I do have a confession to make.
Confess.
I have never seen a Bachelor or Bachelorette episode in my entire life.
Okay.
But I do know who Tyler Cameron is.
Mm-hmm.
I've met him a few times. He's a very, very sweet kid. He's
Yeah.
been very kind to me.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, wish them the best if they are a couple.
So I think
Are you a reality TV man at all?
I haven't had television in a very long time. I think that kind of puts me out
No
of the...
TV.
I have like a Netflix account, but I don't have cable, or I haven't for
So like
probably 10 plus years.
Yellowstone, 1923.
Never seen
White Lotus.
White Lotus. Nothing.
none of it.
Mm.
I'm also not like a huge reality like TV person, I guess.
Yeah.
What don't you like about it?
It's not that I don't like it. I think it's I can't connect to these random people's lives or like care.
Mm.
If that makes sense. Not
Mhm.
like in a mean way or anything. Like I just I have a hard time dedicating my time to being like, what are they up to today? Let's watch.
Are you a sports fan?
I don't watch sports either.
What do you care
But yeah,
about?
what do you do?
What gets you fired up?
I like cars.
Okay.
You work in cars.
Yeah.
You clearly like coffee.
I do like
Passionate
coffee
about
a
coffee?
lot. Man,
gonna
this is
have him-
tough.
he's having an
I try-
existential crisis.
I need to
Are
like
you okay?
something. I
What's
like hanging out with my friends. Like
There you go.
I like enjoying quality time with them, going out to dinners. I
Mhm.
like being with my family.
In Florida?
What do you do to kill time?
Wow.
Like, what do you do to decompress?
Okay.
Yeah, any
I
passion
literally,
projects?
I guess I'd like to watch car stuff and tinker with cars. I like golfing a lot.
You like golf? Okay.
Yeah, that's like my activity if I
Okay.
go out and do something.
All right. I like that we're putting you on the spot.
I know.
Yeah,
This is fun.
I
You
guess
feel you look very vulnerable right now.
I
like
feel
that,
it. I feel it.
Yeah.
I guess nobody's ever asked me what I like.
What do you care
I feel like
about?
that's a classic dating question.
I haven't been dating in 5 years. I've been with my girlfriend, so I guess I'm not used to it.
Well, before we really dig into to Heath here, do you think they'll be Instagram official, Amanda?
I think one of them will post and the other one won't.
But who will
And
be?
I'm just saying that to be
who?
contrarian.
That's
You
not.
gotta-
Yeah,
you gotta pick
no,
one.
that's a bullshit take. That's not going to happen. Neither of them
Well,
are going to go
Okay,
rogue.
so my odds
gotta
are
be-
20 to 1. I think we need to start putting money behind these things.
Oh.
I think this should become a betting show
Oh,
in
there you
2023.
go.
I got pulled into a bet about Nick the other day. I got Venmo'd.
Oh,
Someone
nice.
bet
What was
you
the bet?
about me. What was the bet?
If you would get engaged by the end of the year.
How do you? Oh, by the end of this year,
Mhm.
oh,
Well,
2022.
actually, the bet was the week before Christmas. Our theory was the week
Mm.
before Christmas, if you would get engaged the week before Christmas
you
or
said
not.
no.
Well, I was just pulled into it, and my friend was like, if he doesn't get engaged the week before Christmas, I will send you money. And I got sent money.
How
Wow,
much?
$5.
Okay.
still money.
All right. Well, but we'll bet $1.
Okay,
I like this.
So,
wonderful.
what's your vote? Bet. I'm no. Amanda, Ellie's yes.
What are
Heath?
you, Heath?
I'm gonna-
I think they will personally,
Yeah.
Both?
just because I know them so well, and I
You're good friends.
yeah, I've just watched them really good.
Grow in their love.
Yeah, I think it's easier for people nowadays to become Instagram official.
How old's Kristin?
Let's look.
Tyler's how old? There's a bit of an age difference.
Now, who is this
She's
girl?
35.
Okay. He's 28, 29.
He's got to be early 30s by this point, right?
He's 29.
29.
Okay.
29.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be 30 at the end of this month.
Oh, he's an Aquarius.
I don't know what that means. I know nothing about Aquariuses.
I know nothing about like any of that shit.
You guys aren't into zodiacs?
I wish I was, because I feel like it's a cool
Are
like
you?
thing to flex. What do you care about?
Another
Heath?
thing. I know.
Do you have passion?
God, I should have just said yes to seem like I'm into something.
He would have grilled you on that.
I know.
All right. What did you say? Have you had an answer yet?
Yes.
You think I'm the only no?
Yes.
Okay. You really think? Okay.
Are you going to pay each of us $1? So $3?
Sure.
Great. Venmo request
I'm going to drop it off at your house.
in an envelope.
All right. What other Bachelor news we have to burn through?
I thought it was interesting. Okay, so obviously, I mean, a lot of friendships come out of the show. So Andrew, Justin, Rodney, Nate, and Romeo were all hanging out over the New Year's weekend. They posted a TikTok of them all dancing, and they each had like a clip. And they went in that order. So Andrew, Justin, Rodney, Nate, Romeo. And then Michelle commented 1, 2, 3, and 5 left no crumbs. And Nate, her ex-fiance, was number 4. So she said everyone but Nate left no crumbs. She has entered the chat.
She definitely, that's a saucy comment.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't, I mean, it's playful, I guess. It also says she hasn't moved on.
She and Rachel have become very tight.
Rachel.
Former Bachelorette Rachel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They did a TikTok recently, and you know the trend, it's like me and blah, blah, blah get along so good. And they captioned it, me and Mr. Doesn't Exist get along so good. And it was just like the two of them dancing. It was fun.
I'm just surprised she made that, like,
That she said
how do you let
anything
the
at all.
world know that you still haven't moved on? That's one way,
Yeah.
right? I don't, like,
She didn't need to comment anything.
I mean, and then
Yeah,
fine,
it's
like, hey,
definitely-
I love the, you know, it's playful, but like, it definitely, how else would you look at it?
Yeah.
That she's still,
She's upset about something.
like, you know,
She's
I mean,
upset.
maybe, you know, maybe hers, just, you know, just kidding, guys, but like, how else can you interpret that?
I feel
Right?
like
If
it's one of
you're-
those things where it's
Amanda,
like, she's
you're,
like,
you're
wait.
Michelle's lawyer. Advocate for me for like how this is not like, I'm saying, well, I guess
Clifford Law.
she still cares. She still hasn't moved on. She's not indifferent, and she wants the world to know that.
I think apathy is the grandest form of indifference, and I think silence is a form of apathy. She's didn't even is not going to comment on this because
She did
it was
comment.
not something that left an impression.
What do you
She
mean?
didn't say 4 was bad. You know, if she was going to display some kind of animosity or negativity,
No, she
could
said
have-
4 left crumbs, and I'm not entirely sure
No,
what that means.
no.
she said
1,
the
2,
other
3, and
3
5
like,
left no
didn't leave
crumbs.
That means they ate. They
That-
ate it all.
That means that
Yeah.
4 must have left a crumb, at least one crumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she did say it.
But that means he's still eating, though.
He might just need a little time.
Like, he just didn't eat as much, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, no, it's not like a maybe the crumbs can be cleaned up at some point.
absolutely. Some people have smaller appetites than others and
Let's raise
eat at different
awareness of that,
paces.
yeah.
But I'm just, do you think she was under the influence of either a friend or a substance?
Yes, she and
That's what
Rachel
I'm
were
saying.
like chugging wine, and they were like,
They were wine chugging, and she was like, she typed it
Get
in, she passed
him.
it to Rachel and went, I can't.
No,
and then
you
Rachel
have
was
to
like,
do
and
it.
Rachel
do
was
it.
like, boom, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
probably what happened. And then thought, I can't delete it now because
The world's seen it. Can't be
That's
a
probably
Jason
what
When's the
it
Tardik
last
can take
time
it down.
you did that, like on social media, where you had to like, oh, can I, like, where you're like, am I allowed to do this? And then you realize no one can stop you, and then you do it.
nothing comes to
Ooh.
mind.
Yeah, I can't think of anything right now.
I haven't, but a friend of mine,
There-
because I was asking my friend about an ex of mine, and I was like, what's he up to? And she was like, I have no idea. He blocked me. And I was like, why would he possibly block you? And she was like, because I was drunk one time and he posted with his new girlfriend, and I commented, like, can't do better than Allie, or like, nice try, like,
Mm.
whatever. And then she got blocked.
Wow.
Friendship.
Damn.
I mean, there are a couple of
Yeah.
things I've posted where I'm like, well, let's see where the hell this does. But, you know, like,
Just throw that one out.
Yeah. but like, nothing so like, this was a bad idea. That's just Michelle being like, yeah, I'm still not over it. I don't know how.
Yeah. Well,
Which
it's just
I'm
like,
just
you know,
surprised
everyone's going to screenshot
she-
it and comment on
Yeah.
it. And like, it's there.
But of all the things that you could say,
Yeah, like
I'm not over it. Wouldn't be something I'd want to put out there. But
what an interesting way to do it too.
yeah,
Like, would you comment about an ex that you saw randomly online?
No,
imagine
Yeah.
like, you know, Natalie and I broke up, or what's your girlfriend's name?
Mariah.
Mariah. I still haven't
Like
met her.
Natalie or Mariah post with a bunch of their girlfriends,
we
and you're
break
like
up.
1, 2, 3, and 5.
And I'm like, these women are slang except for her. She sucks. Like
Natalie, you left so many crumbs.
like could you imagine?
That is
Oh my
pretty
gosh.
wild.
Anyway, thanks for
So the question is, what would have been a better, like more like kind of like
Don't
playful
say
comment
anything.
from Michelle?
Nothing.
Literally
Do not
nothing.
say anything.
Literally nothing. Yeah. She
How-
should have
how-
liked
If
it.
she was going to comment though.
What's our
If she
timeline
would-
here?
What do you mean?
When did they break up?
When they broke up? Like, is
Yeah.
this like a month
A
ago?
few months ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they
Yeah.
went to like Wango Tango and stuff, and that was around their breaking point. So like they broke
Say
up in the
summer.
summer.
Mid,
Mm.
yeah. About,
Yeah.
about
June
6 months.
2022.
It's been a good 6
Got
months.
it.
Yeah.
It's not that fresh. What could she have done? What could
If
she
she
have
was
com-
going
She
to
could have just
comment.
been supportive
Comment?
of all of them. Like just been
Yeah.
like killing it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
don't make it about Nate. Just like
what a fun
do a
group.
do a
you know?
flame emoji or something. Like
Yeah.
don't single him out.
Yeah. In fact, if she would have been like, everyone's killing it,
Yeah.
that would have been like
Classy.
classy and different,
Yeah.
moved on. I'm over it. She went the opposite approach.
Yeah.
If I were to be her lawyer, I would say, going back to that, the
Please.
only way I think you can
Because your
justify it
first
is by
defense
saying
is terrible.
it's not great. It's not. First of all, behind closed doors, I'd be like, please help me out. I want to do a good job for you and you're making it difficult. But it could be seen as maybe like a little playful, like 1, 2, 3, and 5 can get it. Like kind of like a little joking. Because Michelle is someone who, as much as she is like the most composed, like has her shit together woman on the world, she's also like, she's got like a sassy side to her. So it could be seen as maybe like a more fun, sassy comment.
Fun, sassy. Okay.
Is it
I wouldn't hire you
flirtatious?
as my lawyer. What?
Is it flirtatious?
Does she want him back?
Yes. It's the only thing I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
She's not moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not indifferent. If your New Year's goal are to manage your budget better and save money, you need Rocket Money. Say goodbye to last year's outdated, disorganized methods of managing your money and say hello to Rocket Money. Better way to hack your finances in 2023. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills, all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about. 80%. I am definitely in that 80. Like that streaming service that you bought to watch just one show, or that free trial that you never used.
That's how they get you. It's the free trial,
That's
and
those
then
free
you forget
trials.
to
Those
unsubscribe,
free
and
trials.
bam.
Yeah, if you're any one of those people, that's all you need to know to justify getting Rocket Money. Rocket Money will quickly and easily identify your subscriptions for you so you can stop paying for the ones you don't want. Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average up to $720. The average person, they save $720 a
money.
year.
That's so much money.
Whew.
Think of
Wow.
what you could do with $720.
I bet I'm going to save thousands. Stop throwing away your money, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/VIALL. That's rocketmoney.com/VIALL. rocketmoney.com/VIALL.
I go to the doctor, and every year she tells me I'm vitamin D deficient.
Aren't we all?
And
I'm with ya.
ready to change that. And so whether you're vitamin D deficient or whether you're just trying to make sure you're taking care of your health, getting the vitamins, like think about how much effort it is to change, like to try to eat more like nutritious foods. Like it's a
Yeah.
lot of energy to change your eating habits. You can get some really high quality nutrients, vitamins, stuff your body needs by just taking a little pill. Easy peas.
Easy peas. So Care of is a subscription service that ships high quality, personalized vitamins, supplements, and powders conveniently to your door every single month. Like there's nothing easier. It just shows up. As Amanda said, it's too difficult to change anything else. So just have this show up at your door.
And maybe your doctor has told you you're vitamin D deficient.
If
such
you're
as
like
myself.
Amanda, send your vitamin D to your door. It'll be there.
Or if you don't know exactly like what you could benefit from, then there's a quiz online, easy peas.
Yes.
Do the quiz, get a personalized doctor-backed recommendation. So that way the guesswork is eliminated from figuring out what supplements are best for you.
Also, it's nice because they ship them in individualized daily packs. So it's a great way. Let's say you're like taking a trip or you're going somewhere on the weekend. Just grab a pack for every day you're going to be gone. No
Love
more
that.
like putting
That's
it into
great.
little travel containers and trying to figure out if you have enough. Just grab it.
Their website is gorgy, very aesthetically pleasing, easy to navigate.
We
You'll figure
love a
out what
good
you need very
aesthetically
quick.
pleasing website.
For 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code VIALL50. That's VIALL50 Once again, for 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code VIALL50.
Final thing, just because I thought it was fun of like when reality TV worlds collide. So Cole from Love is Blind went on another podcast and they had kind of this game where they did like calls, like kind of quick rapid fire dates, but like audio, like they had people call in. And one of the people who called in was Susie from Clayton season. And they had this little like back and forth. And he clearly was very into her and said at the end of the call that she should slide into his DMs, like when they got off the call. She never did that. And then she ended up she already had it like pre-booked. She flew to Dallas to help Zenub shoot content.
Ooh.
So she literally was like full team Zenub.
Is she full team Zenub or is she just...
Maybe not full team
I
Zenub,
think
but she
Susie's
did not
Sweden.
slide in. Yeah.
Susie's Sweden.
Yeah.
Do you mean Switzerland?
Yeah.
Well, I guess also.
Switzerland. I mean Switzerland.
Both very
Close
peaceful
enough.
countries.
That was stupid of me.
Very close.
Very... You're like both cold. A lot
Yeah.
of snow there. Both start with S's.
Yeah.
Samsonite. I was way off. I don't think Susie like has a side.
Yeah.
And I think my
Yeah.
guess is
She already had the shoot book. That
she's
was
in
a
the
work
biz
thing. Yeah.
and Zenub, you know.
I just thought it was a funny little coinky dink. Also, I know that we talked about the fact that Chris Harrison is coming out with his podcast, like the most dramatic podcast ever. Rachel Lindsey said that she will not go on Chris Harrison's podcast. I don't believe
I don't think she...
they've spoken
I
since
don't
that interview.
think
They've
she would.
unfollowed each other, all that good stuff. But she did say,
Where did she say this? On her podcast?
yes, she did say that if Chris wanted to come on her podcast, she would be down to talk.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So I think she just wants it on
She
her
wants the ball in her
terms.
court.
Yeah, exactly.
she wants the downloads, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think, well, because I think they should both come on this podcast. because
Ooh.
Sweden.
We are Sweden.
We're Switzerland. Yeah, and we can have a discussion on this podcast. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That's the solution.
That's the most dramatic podcast ever.
Yeah.
There we go.
Do I think Chris will go on Rachel's podcast?
I don't think so.
No, I
now that
don't.
he has his own, I don't see why he would.
No, I don't.
I think they both would they both want the control and the editing power in their own
Mm-hmm.
camps.
I don't know if it's the editing power as much as the
You think it's just straight engagement?
straight engagement.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? No?
No, I just didn't think about
Well,
that.
I don't think either of them are gonna like have the other person in and then edit it to
Right.
like, you know,
be something.
that it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think either of them are shady in that department. I just think it's just like, well, if I'm gonna do this thing that quite honestly
You want
I'd rather not do,
Yeah.
but I know people are interested in it.
I might as well get the revenue.
I want
That makes sense.
I want the
Yeah.
downloads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Fascinating. I guess time will tell. But
Well,
yeah.
you guys are
Come
welcome
here.
to
Come to Sweden.
Come to Sweden.
Can I, if I bought a Swedish flag, like, could we just hang it up as a joke?
I can't
We
wait to
are
have
Sweden.
half the people will be like, guys, it's not Sweden. Stupid.
You're so dumb.
All right. Well, that does it for our
Bachelor
Bachelor
Tea.
He thanks for
Absolutely.
participating.
You know, I just wanted to bring the insight and
It was really-
you know everyone
dive
so
deep
well,
and-
yeah.
Do you have any New Year's resolutions? Anything you're working on? Any passion projects? Anything that you're like, hey, I need
What do
to
you
just
do? Heath?
cleanse?
How do you spend your days?
Yeah. Other than like figuring out like your
What you're
purpose in
passionate
this
about.
world is.
Yeah, probably to get back into the shape that I was in. I need to get back into the gym every day. I felt way better when I was working out every day, and
You had a health journey.
yeah, I just felt way better about myself mentally and physically. So definitely getting back into the gym for the new year, and then probably spending less time on my phone and reading more and getting outside more.
Okay.
I like to go on walks and just kind of be in my head, just getting more sun.
More vitamin D.
Yeah,
It's a good goal.
nothing too crazy, and
I'd like to get off my phone more too. Maybe Dr. Maya can help us
Help
figure
us. Yeah.
out.
I do feel like it would take a White House level behavioral psychologist
to figure out
break that
how to
habit
get
because it's
people
an
off their
essential part
phones.
of your world.
Of course, she does work for Google. Maybe she doesn't want to give us,
Yeah.
the notes on that. Be like, we want you on the phone. I don't know. Oh, anyway, so no New Year's resolutions other than that.
yeah, probably just that, and then
Are you a big New Year's resolution guy? Like, do you really even?
to me, I've always seen resolutions as like instead of doing something, more of a not doing something, if that makes sense. So I used to always have a resolution to be like, I need to quit smoking cigarettes, or I need to quit this or quit something bad in my life. Not necessarily like, oh, I need to do this.
It's almost like a reminder of all your bad habits.
Yeah, it's almost like a quit the bad shit.
Yeah, because like very few people actually do the resolutions,
Right?
But they do talk about them.
I feel like it's easier to stop doing something than to start something new.
Is it easier to... Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's probably like to me, I think it just seems easier to quit a habit than to start a habit.
I wonder if I bet Dr. Maya.
Let's get
would know
Maya
that.
in.
Yeah.
Can you come in early?
And you're trying to start what you're trying to get back into the gym.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to start a habit again.
Start walking.
Yeah.
More. But you've already done these things.
Yeah, but I kind of like fell off, and I just need to, I guess, live a healthier life. I need to eat better and just treat my body right. I feel like I haven't been.
I did not treat my body right over the holidays.
Yeah,
It's so
these
hard.
last few weeks, I'm like, whoa.
Oh my God, I ate so much sugar. It was brutal. Yeah, my body. It was not good.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You guys have any resolutions?
No.
No, nothing.
Choose violence.
No, I'm
Was
perfect.
my joking? That's your resolution. Whenever people ask,
I have a lot of goals and things, I'm excited
Yeah.
about and excited for this year and but there's not like
That's that one I
need
need.
to start doing that. I mean, definitely as I got home, I was like, I need to like not eat so much sugar. And
Yeah.
that was mostly like, that's a constant goal. That's a constant journey that I'm on to minimize my sugar intake.
It's so hard.
Yeah. I have a sweet tooth and it just
Really?
not good for my
What's your go-to when you're like
just anything real sweet.
candies, chocolates,
Well, yeah.
all of the above?
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
yeah.
It's
I
not
like-
good.
I like it all. It's great.
So you like are because my assistant is like actually has an addiction to candy.
I believe I would do. I do. Yeah.
And he
I would identify.
he will
it.
like sneak out to go buy like a bag of Skittles at a gas station and like hide them.
Oh,
I won't hide them.
Like he's
Who's he hiding them from?
I partially me, partially himself.
the world.
But yeah, he'll like go into the bathroom with those sweet and sour
My mouth's
straws.
salivating right now.
But yeah, he like actually has like an addiction.
I believe. Yeah, I think sugar is very addicting.
What's weird though is like I don't crave sweets, but as soon as I start, I literally cannot stop until I'm about to throw up.
Yeah, I don't crave them. I probably could smoke less weed.
Does that contribute to the sweet snacks?
It doesn't help for sure. Yeah, that's that when I'm busting out the peanut butter jar with a spoon
Yeah.
and putting chocolate chips on it.
I realize stuff like that goes hand in hand though. Like I used to have a really, really bad Monster Energy addiction.
Oh, really? That's bad.
So I was getting one every single day. So my routine, this was like a few years ago, I would go to the gas station, I'd buy a pack of cigarettes, and I'd have an energy drink. And they would just both together. It would have to be
You
smoking
had a
while
pack of cigarettes and a Monster Energy drink every day,
the Breakfast of Champions.
and you're still here.
Yeah, I made it through.
Wow.
And then once I quit smoking cigarettes, I stopped the energy drink.
Wow.
Because it was like I didn't want just the energy
Do you
drink,
feel
and I didn't
like a
want
lot
just
better?
the cigarette.
You must feel.
Oh my god, I used to be a totally different person.
Wow.
How did you quit smoking? Because I feel like that's such a challenge and it's so impressive to do.
It is. It's definitely the hardest thing that I've ever like struggled with was quitting that. And I used to do like other shit, but
Do you still have an urge sometimes when you see people smoking?
I think there'll always be some sort of attraction to smoking cigarettes. Not that I'll see it and be like, man, God, it like eats me up. I want that. But I just think I just miss the occasion of smoking. Like, hey, do you want to go outside? Let's have a cigarette. And it was like a means to communicate or, connect with somebody better. And it was also like, it was my alone time. It was everything. So I think I miss, like if cigarettes were healthy and it wasn't bad, like I miss the activity
How long ago
of
did you
doing
quit?
it. Maybe almost 4 years ago.
So you were still in a relationship when
Yeah.
you were smoking and drinking
Yeah.
Red Bull.
I was chain smoking cigarettes when I met Mariah.
And how would she feel about that? You're like, she's a
I know
professional
she-
dancer,
Yeah. Very, very healthy. She didn't like it.
but it wasn't necessarily her being like, you have to stop this.
No, so she obviously like made it clear like she didn't like that I did it. Like it, not that it bothered her, but she just cared about me and didn't want to see me doing these things. So she was like, listen, I'm not going to tell you to stop doing this, but I care about you and I care about your health. And this is just how I feel. And I respected that more than her being like,
You have to do
you
this.
need to
You're
stop.
You're not allowed to
Yeah.
if you want to date me.
Yeah. And it was never any pressure like that. She was just like, I really love you a lot.
I'd love for you to take better care of yourself type
Yeah.
of thing.
And like that made me want to better myself.
Shame is always better than
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah. It really?
Yeah, guilt.
Guilt and shame. Very powerful.
Yeah. And then I just like always smelled. It was just like that cigarette stink. My fingers were yellow. It was, oh God. I'm so glad I stopped.
Well, good for you, man.
Thanks. It was tough though. I know if anybody out there struggling trying to quit, you really, really, really gotta hold yourself accountable. Your mind will do like some crazy things to convince yourself like, I should just have one more cigarette. And just like telling your mind to shut up and having the power over your own like thoughts is it's really rewarding at the end.
It must be. Especially you must have thought was there a point you ever thought you could never get over it?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole time, like while trying to quit, I thought I wouldn't get over it.
That's awesome.
It's a very rewarding thing to do.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks. I
I'm really
appreciate
proud of
that.
All that other you didn't know what you're doing with your life.
Yeah,
You quit smoking. All your energy has been going into quitting smoking and staying off the smoke.
that's right. It's just my constant thoughts all day. What do you think about a cigarette?
That's why you don't watch TV, because there's people smoking on it. Maybe.
Yeah, I used to smoke cigarettes when I watched TV, so like it's just a constant reminder of.
All right, Amanda. What I figured we've been offline for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories we haven't been talking about, things that have happened. And let's just kind of rapid fire go through them, if you will.
Absolutely. Well, I think topical for starters, on New Year's Eve, a big topic of conversation was drinking and whether or not it should exist on the broadcast. Specifically, Andy Cohen was a real subject of this conversation after
He really kind of
saying Ryan
about it.
Seacrest's group of losers last year. And people speculated he had a little bit too much to drink. In 2020, Don Lemon revealed a tattoo on air. And
I love it.
You know,
I live for the chaos.
Don Lemon revealed a tattoo last year. What was the
and
tattoo
I think it's a Don. It was in 2020, and it said Don Lemon 2020.
What?
That was his tattoo?
Yeah, like that was the thing that was revealed on air. I don't know if he just did a really elaborate job of faking it, but I did see a clip where he looked pretty sauced, and I'm curious, like
after Lemon unfolded the band of his arm, Baldwin saw #Lemon 2020 inked on there. There's a hashtag.
Don Lemon has a #2020.
Good
Really?
for him.
Okay.
Well, that's my question, which is, do we like to see like these like kind of more serious news reporter figures like a little sauce and having some fun on New Year's?
Absolutely.
Yes, of course we do.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I also get why maybe CNN like put the kibosh on it. You know, after I think Anderson Cooper said it best for like Andy like offended New York State officials last year. So like maybe that was why. So you know,
I like the people that shouldn't be drinking in a certain scenario that are, and like you like speculate it, like you're not like 100% sure, but you're like they seem like they're a little bit sauced.
yeah, it's fun to see people's weird side.
Yeah,
I love it.
you get to see them like not what they're like used to be, like being seen as on TV. I like it.
I didn't watch any of it this year, but it sounds like they were still having fun and being goofy and.
And one thing, speaking of the people that Andy Cohen offended, he did jokingly call Anderson Cooper a little Nepo baby because Anderson Cooper is related to the Vanderbilt family of the railroads and that year of U.S. history in grade school where you learned about him. And I feel like Nepo baby was a huge topic of conversation over the break after a New York Magazine's cover featuring...
You didn't see that? Oh, we're into that.
Oh, boy.
Do you read?
That was on my list of things to do.
Read, that's right.
Yeah,
I forgot. Yeah. 2023, not just
2 days
corner.
into this thing, man. Yeah. I got slow start.
What do you say you do here? So, anyways, yeah, Nepo babies. Enlighten for the people who.
Yeah.
Like
So the conversation. This has been Nepo baby is a term that's been thrown around a lot on
I know,
Twitter.
like nepotism, like obviously.
Yeah, should we define it for you?
Okay, I did look up a definition. Okay. The word nepotism derives from Latin and was first used to describe the Catholic Church's practice of allowing popes to appoint their nephews, in brackets, who are often illegitimate children, to the College of Cardinals. And in modern term, it's basically the idea of someone getting a role or position, power, privilege, etc., based off of familial ties, not necessarily merit alone. And so it's been a huge topic of conversation, particularly as it relates to Hollywood stars. There was a cover of New York Magazine, the tagline is of which she has her mother's eyes, an agent, and it features a lot of infants with some famous nepotism babies' heads on the cover. For example, Dakota Johnson, Maude Apatow, Lily Rose Depp. And so I'm curious, like, do
Ben
people
Platt
have any like
was on there
initial
too?
takes?
Ben Platt.
Yeah, Ben Platt.
You look
do
very
people
similar to him, by the way.
Huh?
I think you guys.
You got curly
Can
hair.
we put a cast on you and have you sing Waving Through a Window?
I mean, I've seen him in person. I've met him. I don't think I look anything
I don't
like
know.
him.
Something's just like it could be like a brother.
Sure. Yeah. We have curly hair and we're white.
I don't know. There's something about it.
Okay. I'll take it.
I feel like very few people come forward and say as the take of being pro Nepo baby, but it seems like there's kind of a spectrum.
I'm pro Nepo baby.
Explain
Okay.
your side, Nicholas.
No, go.
Yeah.
No, but finish your thought.
I was just going to say, like, but it seems like there's a spectrum in terms of how much people despise nepotism babies. But it seems like we have an
I'm
even
pro
fuller
Nepo
spectrum
baby.
to discuss.
I've decided. Yeah. I just think that
Say more.
I thought that article was fairly ridiculous. Here's what I think. I think if you read articles like that and you think to yourself, that's why I didn't make it, or that's why I don't have what I want, or then I just think you
victim mentality.
You don't have it. You just don't have what it takes in general. I don't know, whatever
it's
that
like
is.
making an excuse.
Yeah. That's just my mindset, whether it's my sales background or not. Like, for example, when I used to be in sales, right? Like, you have territories and your manager would give you territories, and like some territories were thought to be better than others. And I guess if you could debate whether some territories were better than others, but at the end of the day, like the people who worked the hardest and the people who had the most talent, they always won out. And like there were always situations where like sometimes based on the job, like sometimes like you could call 100 people, get 100 no's, and then the next day someone calls up and be like, I want to buy a bunch of shit, and it just like would work out that way. And it would just kind of always happen. But when that would happen to certain people, when someone would call, they'd call up and be like, oh, they just have they just made an excuse because like, oh, their manager loves it. It was basically their version of nepotism. It was like, oh, they're friends with their manager. The manager likes them more than me and blah, blah, blah. It's like, whatever. And I just think like Ben Platt,
Sweden,
he's super talented.
Yeah.
Like the man, I've seen him sing and live. That's talent. I'm sorry. And like, I understand there's a lot of talented people out there who don't have the access that maybe Ben Platt has. And there's a lot of talented people who haven't been discovered. And I hope they figure out a way to be discovered. But I just don't think we should spend a bunch of energy trying to like put a light on and out people just because of who their parents are. I do truly believe there's a lot of famous kids there's a lot of celebrities with kids who wanted to make it, who haven't made it.
Yeah.
And I just don't think at the end of the day, it's a tough industry out there. And if you don't have the talent, I just don't think you're going to make it. And yeah, if you have parents who are, have celebrity and have the agents and have the money, it certainly helps. And it might be a big reason why they got the nod over, their competitors, but they're also good. And I just think spending a lot of energy and outing people and making them feel like the only reason they are where they're at is because of who their parents are, and not focus on what they had to accomplish and the work they put into. Yeah. I just don't, I hate the mentality. So in the sense of, am I pro Nepo baby? Like 100%. Just because I just hate the idea of people wasting their energy trying to think of reasons why, they didn't make it over someone else who did.
There's also nepotism in everything. Like I have friends who are, firefighters that aren't getting a spot because, they're hiring another family member. So it's like, it's every aspect of life. There's going to be some sort of playing favorites or nepotism when it comes to career path. So it's like, if you look at, acting or modeling or whatever it is that people see on TV, yes, it's a very sought after, I guess, position to be in, but it's every aspect of life, if that makes sense.
No, totally. I just think I can think of every every step of my life, any goal I'm trying to accomplish, any room I was trying to get in, any club, whatever job I was trying to get, every step of the way, I felt I had to overcome certain obstacles. I had to overcome disadvantages. I also had plenty of privilege. I had plenty of opportunities. I've plenty of blessings, all those things. But I also vividly remember certain opportunities where I thought to myself internally, that sucks. That's not fair. Or I knew I had to work harder because of X, Y, or Z. And I just focused on that rather than, make excuses for why I had certain obstacles. To your point, I think everything we do, there are always going to be obstacles. There are always going to be things that aren't fair. The playing field, the playing field isn't fair wherever we go. And so, we can recognize disadvantages and we can recognize our own privileges in life, but I just don't think wasting our energy outing people and mocking them and putting them on the cover of a magazine and implying that somehow
they don't deserve
whatever accolades or work. I don't see the overall good that's bringing or the benefit.
I think there is something to the idea of at least acknowledging it. I think you're right that there's like mocking is cruel. And also I think we should probably blame institutions who are giving these opportunities to Nepo babies than the people who happen to be Nepo babies. But I will say, I do think there is something worth acknowledging because I think that was one of the things I was most struck by in Hollywood was seeing how much it is an industry of connections. And those connections also exist beyond just
an industry of connections.
Yeah. I also think with like the acting industry, it's so hard to even like figure out. Like I just remember being a kid being like, okay, how do I get representation? How do I get these roles? Like there's some like, and to your point, like it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you have someone who's in it who can like explain it to you, it's so much more helpful. But I'm like, I didn't have a single person to like help me figure that out. So I'm like, I probably wasted years trying to like just figure out what the right steps were, as opposed to if I had someone in my family who was in the same industry to be like, okay, so you do this and then you do that. And then we need to get you these headshots and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
As someone who, like you, my parents don't know anything about Hollywood or,
same.
Or, when it comes to things I'm most grateful for or things that I have brought me ahead in life, the two things, one, my parents and my family dynamic, I think I'm the most grateful for that has set me up for success. And two, the fact that I'm 6'2".
Yeah, that's nice. It must be nice.
Honestly, like I think being 6'2" has opened up a lot of doors for me. But I also, as someone who like you, am I proud of the fact that like, when I accomplish a goal, I can reflect back and realize what obstacles I had to overcome. I can reflect back and think I didn't have certain advantages that other people I competed against did, and I still achieved this goal. And I can be proud of that. And I think that's awesome to, from your standpoint, individually maybe recognize the things that you're most proud of or what you had to overcome, or maybe disadvantages that you still overcame to beat people with advantages. I think that's great to have a sense of personal pride, but I don't think we need to be like, this idea that we're outing people or what do we need to recognize it for? To like, just so you know, this person was a Nepo baby.
Politics is another, like, look at the Kennedys. We have these like the Bushes, like we have these political dynasty families.
That I could see people getting more upset about. Like I see like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I have a more, yes, I definitely don't want like a family dynasty in our political.
Right.
They're there.
And sure. But to your point, I have more of a problem with that than Hollywood for sure. Mm-hmm. But I just think the world is about who you know. It is about connection. So, make connections with people, get to know people, build families and friends and people and network and do the things that you have to do to overcome the fact that you weren't born to a celebrity.
But I also feel like there's way more people that struggled and hustled and got there on their own and built themselves a name way more than there is a Nepo baby.
Probably, yeah, for sure. It sounds like there's been a rise. I think maybe now more than ever was like kind of the point of the article that there seems to be a lot. I don't know. But yes, I mean, I think if you're looking at every, actor or musical artist or celebrity out there, like the vast majority are people who aren't.
But then, like, also you build a name for yourself, and then you have a kid. It's like, are you not like?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No,
and then,
sorry,
and then
man,
you don't. You're not going to help your own. Like, it's just.
Of course, you want to help
it's
your
crazy.
kid. Yeah, like, I don't like what is the crime here? You know, like wanting the best for your children and and having setting them up for success. And I really just don't believe there's any bad actors and talentless celebrities out there that have famous parents. And I'm sure people might be like, you can't, I'm sorry, you have to be.
Yeah, people would, you would not get.
You might not be a fan of them, but someone is, because they're like, if they have a fan base and they have a following, they're doing something right. Call it say what you want about Kardashians, but like, or, like if you have an audience and you are getting jobs and you're getting more, getting one job, fine. That might be, like, I don't know how this person got this job. Mm-hmm. But if you have built a career in this industry, I'm like that requires talent.
Well, and the thing is too, it's like, okay, so let's say their parents knew the agents or the casting directors or whatever and got them in the door. You still, at some point, especially when you're building your career, you got to audition. Yeah. You can't just like show up on set and have the part already. Yeah, like you got to be approved.
Right.
Yeah. You have to have some sort of talent.
Also, some of these people's parents were like pretty talented. Mm-hmm. This is probably why they got to be famous. And I have a lot of friends whose parents are big celebrities, and like it's just amazing. Like I go to karaoke with these people, I'm like, holy shit! Like these,
and also like things like that are passed down.
Yeah, they're just dripping with talent.
Like LeBron's son, it's like you can't like the guy can play basketball. You know what I mean? Like it probably runs in the family. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I just think it's such a. I do. I think it's a loser mentality. Well, if you are reading this article and thinking, yeah, that's why that's
why I didn't make it.
That's why I didn't make it. That's a loser. I didn't say you're a loser, but you have a loser mentality. It's the same people I was on the same people I was working with. I was just like, you will never make it to President's Club. You're never going to be good at your job because you're always, every time someone else has success, you're looking for reasons to discredit their success rather than maybe going to them and saying, hey man, that was like, congratulations. That was really cool. Is there like, what did you do? Like, is there anything you could pass down to me? Is there any like tricks that and maybe there's nothing but like you could it's about your mentality. And I just think if you're going to have the mentality of like just critiquing and discouraging what they did, I think you have a loser mentality and you will never be a winner.
I just had a flashback to when I was a child and I was trying to figure out how to break into the acting world and I didn't know what to do.
I was wondering why you were just laughing.
I forgot I did this until just now. I sent Selena Gomez a letter asking her advice of how to break into the acting
love that. Love that.
I was like,
do you still have the letter?
Please help me, Selena. No, I sent it in the mail.
That's amazing.
She never got back to me, but
that's
okay.
That's get out. That's
tried.
fine.
That's a winner mentality, Allie.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I do think it is. Well, okay. One is that I think a lot of the people who complain most about nepotism babies are people who have a ton of privilege, just not in that specific regard. Like, I think, as much as like, of course, having a parent in the industry is like a next level connection. Like I got to go to Northwestern. That is not something that very many people have the opportunity to do. The alumni network that then let me like hear about this job listing. So I will say that like, I think to make it out to be a black and white issue where it's only people who have the famous parents are benefiting or like having a different like starting point. Like, there's the whole like they were born on third base and now they're acting like they hit a home run. A lot of people who are saying that were born on second base. So I think I will say in that regard, I totally agree with you. But I do think I think you're downplaying how significant like the influence of parents are in this like filmmaking age. And how can we say with certainty?
I just don't care.
I think we're just putting fame on a pedestal. Like most people don't really want to be an actor or an actress. It's like I could have been very, very grateful for nepotism if I had a parent that worked in my school and I was able to skate by with my grades and be like, oh yeah, I can skip class, I can do this. People at that time would have been like, oh my God, must be nice to have your dad be the principal or something. And it's like, there's always going to be, and then once you graduate school, it's like, okay, well, that doesn't matter to you anymore. Like you have no benefit over that, having him as your parent. unless you wanted to go, I guess, into being a teacher or something and working for that school. But it's all specific to what your parents do, if that makes sense.
I just don't care, you know, in terms of, if we're talking specifically Hollywood, I don't care. You know, like, I didn't know that Ben Platt was a Nepo baby until it was on the article. What I do know is that when I saw him perform, I remember being like, holy shit, that guy's talented. Like, that's amazing. Like, I've seen him act, I've seen him sing. I know that less than 1% of the world people are gifted to do what he does, and where he got it. And, you know, and because I just don't care. Yeah, it's already a privileged world in society, you know, in terms of Hollywood. And I don't really care if someone whose parents are famous. I don't, you know, I didn't get into, like, when I moved out to Hollywood, I wasn't like, I hope it's fair, you know, like, that wasn't on my, you know.
Nick on the plane,
yeah,
looking out the window. I hope it's fair.
When I was like thinking about like changing my life is in my early 30s and quitting a job that I loved and like leaving my condo and like moving into my like buddy's like spare bedroom and sleeping in an air mattress, I wasn't like, well, I'll only go if it's fair.
Yeah.
You know, like.
But it's so easy to say that, I think, sitting from a place of success.
What do you mean? Like, I took a ton of risks, you know? Like,
no, I know 100%. But I think it's very easy, like, knowing the way things shook out.
Well, I just know that I wasn't thinking about that when I took the leap of faith. It couldn't have worked out.
Because if he was thinking about.
And if it didn't work out, I wouldn't have been like, oh, it's because my parents weren't famous. You know, I just would have been like, no, because this shit is really hard and it takes a lot of work and a lot of fucking luck too.
That's the biggest thing. So what I will say is, like, from my experience, is capitalizing on luck. Like, if something happens, you catch that and then you're like, okay, this was something that was handed to me real quick. Like, what do I do with this now? And then be like, okay, now I got to do something. And then you just like ride that wave until something else comes up. Like, I wasn't even supposed to move out here. I was supposed to go to FSU. And I was doing Vine at the time. Had my apartment picked, everything, classes ready to go. And like maybe a month, not even, like a couple of weeks before I was getting ready to move to FSU, me and Zane were talking to each other and we're like, should we just risk it all and just go to LA? Like, we've got a little bit of a following on Vine. We know other people are out there. We can collab and try to do something. Or do we stay here and I was going to be a cop. That's what I was going to school for. So I was like, let's just risk it. Let's just try it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We come back, whatever. And then we came out here and
you weren't like, hey, is LA fair? You know, like,
and then it was just like, got lucky with that, took a shot, came out here. Things were working out, then they weren't. I lost all my money. I moved back to Florida for a few months and like, damn, this is tough. And then I was like, you know what? Let me try one more time. I went back to LA and I spent everything I had on a camera and I was like, let me try vlogging. Let me just try something. And then that started to do well. And then vlogging died out. You pivot. We did podcasts. And it's just like,
no, but I love what you said in terms of like, take advantage of the luck, right?
Yeah.
Because like we say on the show all the time, like, shavings make a pile, right? Like, you're going to have certain things where it's just like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm here, or I met this person. And then at that moment, what do you do with that, right? Do you burn the connection? Do you make a bad impression? Do you like, you know, when I first got into LA, I knew that like a lot of executives were Bachelor fans. And I knew that I could get into a lot of rooms that other people like who had just moved to LA to become actors couldn't. Like they couldn't get meetings with executive casting directors. They couldn't get meetings with executive casting directors of major networks and studios. But I could. Right. And I knew that they didn't want to meet me because they wanted to talk about my acting career. They wanted to talk about or whatever or my dreams in Hollywood. They just wanted to ask me stupid Bachelor questions, but I was in the room and I knew that. So I figured, what do I do with this? Right.
Take advantage of that.
I tried to take advantage of that and use that time. And so, yeah, like there's other ways to get lucky. There's other ways to build your luck or open doors. And then what do you do with that? So all these you know, actors with famous parents, like they definitely had advantages and luck and they were definitely privileged in a lot of ways. But if we're talking about all the people who have built their own careers and are successful actors and performers, they took advantage of their luck and they worked hard and they did something with that rather than waste it. you know, and we could say that about everyone. And I just
there's a phrase that says luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And I like that because it's like there are opportunities, there are like things that have to occur, but you have to be ready for them and you have to have laid the groundwork and be ready to take advantage of them.
Yeah, or waste them. But I hate that mentality of focusing on critiquing people's success just because you're disappointed in your outcome.
I think there's a gray space though, like in between acknowledging.
Who did it bring up? All it did is bring people down. Like, what purpose did it serve other than,
took the shine off of their accolades in a way.
Other than like it was juicy and it was like, scandalous,
so that's
entertaining and like we're talking about it, sure, but like, that is unfortunately journalism these days. Like, it's not serving a greater good and bringing awareness to our society.
I guarantee you though, out of all the celebrities and movie stars, whatever, that have had kids and the amount of kids that they've had, the percentage of them that went on to build their own career and become super successful
also probably really small.
Is very, very small.
Yeah.
Like, think about how many famous people there are and actors out here that are doing this. And we could pick out enough to make a cover. I think we just care too much about other people's lives. I think we need to just worry about ourselves.
Stay in your lane.
That's why
I think we worry too much about other people's success.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think that's why I don't really like watch other things. I just don't care. Because then if I look at other, like somebody else's story or this, I compare myself to it and I'm like,
comparison is the thief of joy.
I don't need to do that.
Really is.
Like, focus on yourself. I think if you're doing your best every day to be the best version of yourself and you are trying your best to go out and succeed, whatever field it's in, like, there is no excuses. Like, work hard and try.
Yeah.
Life is unfair in every single industry, no matter what you're doing, any sort of route you want to take. And you either try and roll with it and just do something, or you make excuses, like you said. Yeah. And you're like, that's another thing. Like, if you go into something like, that's why I'm not successful, that's why I didn't get the job, that's why I didn't do this, then you're never going to.
I literally got beat out by Maude for a role. Like, it's like, it was a role, like, it was our demographic, our casting, like, whatever. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, yeah, she has an advantage, but I also was like, she probably had a better audition. Like, there's a lot of things that go into it. And I don't think I was like, God, the Nepo baby took my part.
I just think there's a lot more productive ways to like invoke change and opportunity for the people of less privilege, rather than trying to have parents not want to help their kids out.
Mm-hmm.
I just like, I draw the line there of of making parents feel bad for wanting to set up their kids for success.
There's also
and having kids not want to take advantage of the opportunity and feel the need to like expose them and let the world know, just so you know, they had advantages that you didn't have. I think there's just other more productive ways to invoke change that we need to, again, help people with less privilege. And I just don't think nepotism is all that beneficial, because there's so many variables at play that we just discussed of like what are we gonna.
I also think a lot of the times it's the audience and ourselves that are wanting to see these celebrity kids take these roles. It's like we're like, we would rather have Judd Apatow's kid be a star in something than somebody we don't know. We're like, oh my God,
than me.
I love.
No one wanted to see me in that film.
But you know what I mean? Like, we want to see, oh my God, they're of age, like they can act now.
That's a good point. Yeah. It's like the royal, like America, we talked about royals recently, but the royal family, it's like it's the whole family dynasty. And when it comes to America, like celebrities have always been our royalty.
Like, we're going to want to see Stormy be an actress or something.
Stormy, baby.
You know what I mean? Like,
there is an interest in like people, Angelina and Brad Pitt's kids.
More people will show up to watch that movie or do like, than if it went to not saying
there is a level of curiosity.
Oh, I would say, like, to that point also, like, these children don't get to choose about whether or not to be thrown in the spotlight. Like, Maude Apatow probably had her personal life invaded like ever since the day she was born because of where her parents are. And so I think there is also a point of saying, like, it does come with like certainly some like very detrimental, or just like you don't live a normal life. And part of that normalcy is in ways that I think are really challenging and horrific that you never consented to. And then part of those are in ways where like you get opportunities that other people might not get.
I also just feel like, especially like this industry, like smaller projects even that aren't like that official. Like I just remember auditioning for small things and they literally will pick people with bigger Instagram followings in order to promote the project. Like there's always something like they ask you to send your Instagram handle. Like what does that have to do with my performance?
Nothing.
But it's business.
Yeah. It's just,
and just like you said, like more people are gonna see it, or more
it's
people
a business.
are interested.
These people are making an investment into building a movie. They're spending X amount to make more than that. At the end of the day, they don't fucking care who the person is. They don't. It's like, am I going to get a greater return on my investment at the end of the day?
Yeah.
If not, then we're not going to do the movie.
Yeah.
But I think just as a society, we've become so obsessed with
fame
and these people like that.
We all have the right to become famous and be celebrities. I agree with you. I just don't think in terms of like priorities of things we should focus our attention on.
Yes,
for change. I just don't think how do we make sure everyone has a fair chance to be famous is like just not on the top of my priority list. I mean, people might feel differently. I don't see the point. And if you want to, be a comedian or an actor or a singer and be a performer or just famous for nothing, like, go ahead and try and like.
But that's the thing, like,
and I hope you make it. But like,
that's why it's a success story. Like, it's hard. If it was easy and like you could, everybody would just get what they wanted.
Well, the nepotism people would say, well, yeah, it was easy for them, and
right.
But I just think the cream
look
rises.
At me like I'm saying I am not I am not as far on the spectrum as your opponents to the points that you are making. I am somewhere in between where I'm saying it is a relevant data point that people should have access to and should
I just
not
don't
be
know
swept under the rug.
There's a difference between being swept under the rug and
I just think there's big
calling it out.
Big problems out there that are way more important that people should have their attention focused on. That should really keep them up at night rather than, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, another person that a lot of people are focusing on is Celine Dion, who was left off Rolling Stone's 200 Best Singers list. Twitter is outraged.
That is absurd. I'm not a musical genius by any stretch. I don't know music very well, so I don't feel like I have a very intelligent take. But I know enough to know that Celine Dion
should definitely be
on that list. Like, what was her qualifications? And it wasn't like entertainer; it was just straight singer.
Greatest singers of all time.
Who was number 200? That was that one spot ahead.
Yeah. Who
like
made
just so we could get a quick.
When they were down to
it was a Nepo baby.
How many Nepo babies were on this list?
Sebastian, Johann Sebastian Bach's kid.
Yeah, bumped off Celine.
200 was Rosalia.
Who?
People are wondering.
Sorry, I don't know if that was rude or not. I just actually don't.
I just liked how fast you were.
Who? What? Yeah, I don't think it's going to be 200. Well, I mean, I'm sure they're all
I'm
relative.
guessing like Ariana Grande is on there.
Now, are we going based off of strictly artists in the United States? Because it could be, now we're competing with the rest of the world.
It's all time, right? In the world?
Yes. So the 200 greatest singers of all time.
Could be, very successful in somewhere else.
I'm sure she's quite good.
Yeah. Good job, Rosalia.
I'm sure they're all very talented.
Who else is on? Is Ariana Grande on there? Mariah Carey?
Is Britney Spears on there?
It takes a very long time to load the whole thing.
Oh yeah, there's like a whole article for everybody. This is a detail.
Yeah, I really did try. I was like, can we just get a list?
Kelly Clarkson's on
there.
No,
you can't.
Kelly Clarkson's on there.
Mm-hmm. Frank Ocean.
Billie Eilish was 198. So I think if we're thinking of like, can we make a direct comparison between Celine Dion and
SZA?
Do people want to either guess who they think number one was or make a case for someone who they think is the greatest singer of all time?
Carrie Underwood is on there. 185.
I love
Celine Dion's not on there. That's
okay. We're trying to guess number one real quick.
Yeah.
And now this is greatest singer or artist?
They're going to have Whitney Houston be number one.
Singer.
Whitney Houston number one.
She's top 10, I'm guessing.
Taylor Swift is 102. Elton John is 100. He's right in the middle.
Wow. Okay. Number one. That is so tough.
Tupac.
Is Shakira on the list?
She's got a great voice.
Where do you guys think Rihanna lands? Just like a stab.
Between 100 to 200.
Oh, interesting. She's 68.
68.
Wow.
Mhm.
How is this based on?
Yeah. How big is the
Who is
panel
judging?
of?
I think it's literally just Rolling Stone. If you want, I can read.
This is based
Because
on.
like
Keep in mind
Rihanna,
this-
like amazing voice, but I feel like I see her, like Rihanna. I feel like it's everything that she does makes her
Right.
like,
Would
like
put her
music,
high on the list.
her lyrics, her performance, everything she does, her voice too. But like, yeah, I guess I've never heard her like sing like a solo like a cappella, like where it's just like Alicia Keys. Like I think of Alicia Keys.
Great
and
voice.
You think of a voice.
She's on there. This list was compiled by our, meaning Rolling Stone, key staff and contributors. It encompasses 100 years of pop music as an ongoing global conversation where iconic Indian playback singer Lata Mangeshkar lands between Amy Winehouse and Johnny Cash, and salsa queen Celia Cruz is up there in the rankings with Prince and Marvin Gaye. So that's their little spiel.
I'm putting
about
Michael Jackson #1.
it is. Do you guys want a clue?
You can just tell us.
Okay. I was going to be like, you have to respect this person because it's Aretha Franklin, which I feel like nobody can be mad about.
Whitney
problem
Houston
with
was 2.
Whitney Houston was 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Adele
I was
was
close.
22.
I was close.
Wow.
Adele was 22.
Mm-hmm.
How?
I didn't make the list, Nick.
Because Adele can sing.
Billie Holiday was 4. Mariah Carey was 5.
Billie Holiday? Okay.
Stevie Wonder's 7.
Beyonce was 8.
There's no,
I was gonna say
yeah,
she's
I'm
got to be
sorry.
up there.
Beyonce, amazing. I love Beyonce. Love everything about Beyonce. But Adele behind 20 spots or 10 spots behind Beyonce? I don't know.
Mariah Carey was number 5. The Queen of Christmas
Where's
herself.
Ariana Grande? I
Mariah
feel like
Carey
she should
has
be
an
up here.
amazing voice.
Yeah, her range is pretty insane.
But Beyonce?
Mhm.
Over Adele.
Ariana Grande is 43.
That seems
What?
wrong. She hits notes that are like impossible to hit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. There's some bias on this list. I don't know what the bias is,
But like,
but there's bias.
like,
Why are you putting a D at the end of that?
I don't know. Bias. It's biased.
Oh, okay. I see now.
but also this is like something that is strictly up to somebody's own.
Yeah, it's just a random group of people. But like,
Perspective.
I think they just forgot about Celine Dion.
Oh shit!
They, right?
They got to 200.
There's
and
just
they're
no
like,
way they're like Celine. I don't know. I think she's more like 205. You know?
Or some very petty Rolling Stone reporter
Yeah.
has somehow felt
Had, like, a
wrong by
bad
Celine
experience
Dion,
with
and that was
her
their
and-
yeah,
time.
they didn't like her.
Wanted to get
you know,
back.
they thought she was rude or something.
Yeah.
I think, frankly, there is no way to make this list without making everybody angry. Another force that made a lot of people angry this holiday season was Southwest Airlines.
Oh,
Oh
there
my
was a
God.
slew of cancellations. Did everybody have an okay time traveling this holiday season?
I did a great job. Jeff did a great job. My dog.
yeah.
He thrived.
Oh, yeah.
He was a great little traveler.
Do you
Mhm.
go in the carrying case or do you just hold?
He was sat on my lap.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Service
What
the shit out
type?
of
What
me.
type?
He was a great little service dog.
What type of dog is it?
He's an Australian Cobber dog.
Oh.
He was great. I'm really proud of him. No, we thankfully we flew United and American and pretty decent experiences this time around.
I only had a couple hour delay on my way back.
That's not bad. I know. I've always stumped for Southwest. Like I didn't mind that for the right flight. They're great.
what do you do? But they like you don't pick a seat or something. Like I just feel like you
It's
end up with all these
general
additional
boarding.
fees.
Yeah.
Half the time it's like, oh, it's a cheap flight, and then they're like, your bag will be
It's the way Spirit does it,
$87.
too.
It's not good for everything, but it's for the right regional flight.
Yeah.
It's a winner. Or it
Bags
was.
fly free on Southwest. They
Yeah.
they had no change fees before everybody else is doing it. I think they are the Trader Joe's of airlines. They have a happy demeanor. Also, fun fact, they were sued in the 70s. I wrote a legal studies paper on this because they would only hire hot young flight attendants. And they said it was a big part of their business and competitive advantage because they were like, we're catering to like businessmen who want a pretty lady checking them in. And the court was like, no, you don't have to be hot to scan a ticket. Hire some men.
Oh, also, speaking of scanning tickets, some people DM'd me about boarding passes, and some people say, I think it depends on the airline. Sometimes it does.
Did you get any
pop
flack
up.
for that?
No,
Was anyone
no.
mad at you? I don't know.
But some people said you can't see, nothing pops up. Other people said it does pop up, if you're in the wrong boarding group. So I think it depends on the airline.
I think the people checking in just don't care.
Yeah, that's what one person said. They're like, they're really, sometimes if they are on a power trip, they'll tell you like, no, but half the time they just don't care.
Just don't care.
Yeah. So
we were talking about whether, like, if you're in group 7,
oh,
if you just like get in line,
the group
does
boarding?
it show up on the ticket?
Yeah, like error.
Interesting.
Because she photoshops her boarding passes.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I like to board early.
Sometimes
So you'll change everything, or you'll keep everything but change the group?
Yeah.
I just get in line sometimes.
I don't like change my seat. That's not going to work, but yeah.
Especially if there's like this flight is full.
You want to get on the plane that bad?
Well, I have a dog, so I like to get all my stuff like settled. Although sometimes I'm realizing like I could just board with, you know how they say at the beginning, like if you need more time, I should just go with that group.
Kind of, yeah. Like,
I should just go with a group that I like legally can go in. But
I
people
think
be
the
like,
real
"She's not
inconvenience is
handicapped."
when there's too many people. Like when they make you start checking your carry-on bag, that makes my blood boil.
yeah.
yeah, I don't. That's when I'm not waiting in group
Yeah.
7.
They're like, we would like some volunteers. I'm like, no one's volunteering. Like,
Yeah, who's
Well,
the
I
bag?
take it.
The bag,
Well, it
but
depends.
then
If I've checked a bag,
It doesn't matter then.
it doesn't
Yeah,
really matter.
That's true.
You know,
That's what I'm saying.
like,
They
take it
should
up-
make people who have already checked a bag be the first to give up their carry-on bag.
Well, because
or give you the money back for that checked bag.
no, that's the thing. It's just like, okay, you bring a check bag. It's just like, well, it's going to be another $25 for your second bag. It's like, all right, well, I'll just carry it on. And then 15 minutes later, they're like begging me to like check that very same bag they were going to charge me $25 for. So in those cases, I will check that bag because it's just like, we could have done this earlier, but like you decided to be a dick about it. And here we are. And I'll get that free voucher or whatever it is they're offering for me to check a bag.
I want to know who's not getting on the plane to go the next day when they overbook. You know, when they give out vouchers,
Yeah.
they're like, we're overbooked 5 seats. Does anybody want to give up their seat for?
I've thought about it a couple times.
Really?
Yeah, you know,
Like if you're not in a rush.
I've thought about it when
I've never done it.
they've also offered like
I thought about it, but yeah, when I
it's
when I didn't have
different when
a
they say
ton
like
of money,
next day, or if they're like, I've heard them be like, there's another flight in 2 hours, like that. I'd be like,
sure.
If I was
So it's
in a
like,
rush.
all
Right,
right, well, I could use
Yeah.
a free flight.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know when to use it, but like, fuck it, I'm not going anywhere.
They were offering $800 for, because I was flying on
Wow.
Christmas. They were offering $800 if you would go the next day.
Next
And
day,
I thought about it. And then, but then I had a moment. At first, I was like, kind of like getting FOMO. But then I was like, I am so grateful that I have family with whom 24 hours with them is worth $800. But also, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. Like, I feel like everywhere I go is always get there at the last minute possible before, you know, like, so delaying my flight would just ruin the whole reason I'm
Mhm.
going somewhere.
yeah.
So I guess that's why I've never really considered.
How early do you all
Taking
get to the airport?
I'm an hour before plane takes off.
hour
That's when
15.
you get there.
Hour 15.
Oh my gosh. My German grandfather instilled deep within my bones.
Were you
I
there
must
for
be at
3
the airport
hours?
a minimum of 2 hours early.
2 hours.
And 3
what
for
do you
international.
do? What did like?
Yeah, what do you
It's
do?
just
You
pointless
just sit
time, and then
there.
you have to spend like $47 on a sandwich.
Even in the most
What?
busiest days of LAX, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And if you're PSA pre-check.
Yeah, I think as long as, because the cutoff for a checked bag is 40 minutes before
Yeah.
the plane takes off.
I one time pushed it a little too close and pulled up when it was boarding.
Ah,
Like Uber, like pulled up as it was
The
boarding.
one time I missed a flight was because I checked a bag.
That'll get you.
like you can make it on the flight, but you can't.
Yeah, my alarm
they
didn't
cut
go off. It was like a 6 a.m. flight, and I was amazed how fast I still got there. I was like, this is incredible. And I got to my gate, the plane was still there, but they wouldn't let me on because I had a checked bag. I
Yep.
was so pissed.
Ugh.
I think it was 2 or 3 Thanksgivings ago. I missed 2 flights.
How?
So I'm
Oh,
on my way. I leave at like a normal time that I would to go to the airport, and we get all the way almost to the In-N-Out right before
Mhm.
Yeah,
LAX.
Yeah.
So we're right there, and like it's cutting it really close. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm not gonna make this flight. So I went on, I canceled the flight, booked another one that was an hour later.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, at least we're good. So I'm still sitting there, and this traffic is just a standstill.
From
We're
that
sitting there.
from that in and out.
Yes, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm about to just get out and run.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and it keeps cutting it close. And I ended up missing the second flight, being able to check my checked bag.
Oof.
So I had
Oh,
to sleep
no.
at a hotel right next to the airport. and then go the next morning.
Oh, that's brutal.
sucks.
I was
It is
sometimes
so
you have
mad.
to. Sometimes you have to cheat it on LAX and go to the arrivals
Mhm.
and get out at the arrivals instead of the departures.
Yeah.
If the departure is really busy.
Yeah.
I think car insurance should ask how many times do you go to LAX a year when they're deciding how much to charge you, because there is no place that I feel more consistently like I am become close to have people hitting my car than LAX. Like it is next level.
It's yeah.
Do you ever
it's
park there,
terrible.
or you're like that? Because that's like how many times you pick up friends. Because I never drive to LAX when I'm traveling.
Mm-mm.
I'm
Either
that person
Uber
that,
or have a ride.
I'm the person that picks up my friends when they come in. So I'm kind of there a lot.
I have this friend who picks me up from the airport, and she is like always there right on time. She will have stopped at Costco and bought me groceries. She has a
Wow.
chilled White Claw in the cup holder. Like it is a service.
Wow.
That is nice.
Yeah. I plan to keep her around for a while.
Yeah. Hang on to that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's time for texting office hours. Let's get into it. How's it going?
Hi, Nick. I'm Sarah. I'm 28.
Hi, Sarah.
Basically, my best friend started dating my ex from 8 years ago without telling me.
Okay. And I'm assuming you want to figure out what to do about it.
Mostly, I mean, I know I have no control over the situation, but I do kind of want to figure out how much of my input I want to actually give them here.
Gotcha. So my first question to you is, it's just of how much you care that they're doing this. How much of it is you have some actual concerns for whatever they are, whether you two had a lot of history or there's other things that you might know, or do you care because you think you should care just because in general it's kind of weird?
Yeah, in general, it is kind of weird, but I would say it's more the actual concerns.
Okay.
In addition to they're actually asking me to sit down and talk to them about how I feel about it. Because they're like, oh, well, you're our friend, so we want to make sure you're comfortable.
How
But-
did you find out about it?
So my ex from 8 years ago, like we took a couple years of not talking before we became friends again. But we see each other a couple times a year. We keep in touch. He lives out of state. His family's here, so I usually see him when he comes down to see his family. And so he came and visited a few months back, and at the time he met my best friend, and she was in a relationship at that time. But we met each other and we all hung out and did stuff around town, and he came back to visit again for the holidays, and I was out of town with my boyfriend, so she offered for him to stay with her. And so he was going to stay with her the first night, and then he kind of just never touched base with me about coming to stay at my place, which was his original plan.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he told me that he was more comfortable there and didn't expect to get along with her and just kind of kept it vague. But I'm not stupid. Like I could read between the lines there. So, but
So
I think it was Christmas night actually that I have her location and she has mine. And it was like 11 and I was wanting to see if she got home from her family's house, but I noticed that she was at his family's house. And that's when I kind of called and breached the subject.
his family's Christmas. She's already going to Christmas.
Yeah, they've been talking for a week at this point, and she's at his family's Christmas.
Okay. Why are you friends with your ex? Like why did you, like what was how serious was this relationship? Like how long did you guys date for?
Yeah, I know you're not a proponent of friends with the exes.
I mean, there's exceptions to every rule, but I am curious since you are friends, like what how that came to be.
Yeah, we were friends first. We met when we were 19. Like we both had some family stuff and kind of used the relationship and each other to move in together pretty early on after probably a couple months.
Okay, so you guys live together.
We lived together for about a year and we broke up when we had an argument where he was talking to someone else. And I found out about it. And there was like a small physical altercation. And then we didn't speak for a few years before
What do you mean
We
by
tried talking.
small physical altercation?
What I mean, I guess, is that he was being very, like, what I was saying about the situation didn't matter with him talking to someone else and just kind of being really cold about it to me. And I pushed him, and then in return, he he kicked me.
You lived with this guy. He cheated on you on some level. You know, he got defensive, and this physical altercation happened. You know, you pushed. He retaliated, physically hurt you. Do you think he's grown from being the 20-year-old reactive person that he was?
I feel like he's grown and changed, but I wouldn't say that I'm sure that if pushed, someone wouldn't revert to that same
Does she know his history?
behavior. She does know this history, yes. And she recently got out of a relationship that was also abusive. So it's not too far off from what happened with us many years ago.
Given the seriousness of this, I think you just have to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think, yeah, you're going to upset them. You're going to upset your friend. But if you truly have some it sounds like you have some valid concerns. And I think all you can say is, and I think I think it's more of a conversation with her than with him. I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
And they said they wanted to talk to you?
Mm-hmm.
What did they say? How did they bring it up?
I mean, they have their own concerns too, like more minor things that they're concerned about, like,
are you okay with this as a friend?
Their future goals not lining up. Am I okay with it? What's going to happen if it doesn't work out? Things like that, pretty vague things.
It's tough, right? Because I can also picture you, even if you were like honest about, like, if you sat them down and said, well, if I'm keeping it real, my real concern is to your ex, you're like, you know, and I have this history. I know you're sorry for it, but like, it still happened. And it's not something that I can forget that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I still love you and care about it. And I think deep down, maybe you're a good person, but it's still a concern. And now you're dating my best friend who just got out of a very toxic and abusive relationship. The problem, I think, if you say that to them, both of them, even if they like acknowledge it, they're like, yeah, I know. But I think everyone thinks they can be different or they can learn. How long ago did she get out of a relationship?
Maybe a couple months.
So I would just maybe remind her, it's like, hey, it's just been a couple months. You're still healing. You know, just be careful. Even regardless of who she is hanging out with now, she should be careful with her heart in a sense, right? Even if it was like some strange guy who you thought seemed like, you know, had all the green flags. You know, it's just kind of like, hey, she still might have some healing to do. So like her getting emotionally invested and just her having Christmas with this guy's family kind of speaks to, you know, her wanting to feel a certain feeling around the holidays more than whatever she feels with him.
That's true. I didn't think about that like that.
That's my guess. But like making her aware of that is, you know, like how much what's your comfort level to communicate and have tough conversations with her? Like, will she listen, do you think? Or do you think she'll just get defensive?
No, she'll listen.
So yeah, I mean, maybe just kind of lead with kind of love and just say, hey, listen, like, because if I'm reading you right, like, as far as them dating, you don't really give a shit in terms of he used to be your ex and she's your friend.
Yeah, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I don't see him like that. It's been a long time since.
So I think you have working for you, right? And I think you say to them, or her specifically, it's like, listen, if you really are happy with him, I don't care. I don't see him like that. If you're happy, I'm happy. But you just got out of this relationship, and I just think, I'm concerned that you're not fully, you know, healed from it. You know, it just takes time to heal from these things. And I am concerned about this history, you know, and just kind of from a compassionate standpoint without accusing her of anything or blaming her. You know, what you want to be careful of is not accusing her of how she is or what she might do. It's just more like, is this the healthiest situation you're putting yourself in.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact, you know, don't you think things are moving a little? I'm just concerned things are moving too quickly, and I am concerned that, you know, you have you know, I'm concerned for a situation that you've just worked hard to remove yourself from.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the variables that this situation has that makes me think it's possible for you to be back in a very similar situation if things don't go perfectly.
Yeah.
And just see what she says.
Yeah, that's a good way to word that.
You know, it's like you don't want to act like you know for sure it's going to happen. You don't want to doubt their ability to have changed and grow, because like you don't want to like say these things that make them get, well, no, like, how do you know I haven't changed, or things like that? But it's just more, hey, don't you think, like it's just more, you want her to just be sure she's happy and healed. Because the fact that they want to sit down and talk to you about like really giving this a shot, it's like, you know, it could go, even without this history, it could get real messy.
Yeah, I think I just was wondering if that's even a conversation that should be had, because if they're sitting down to talk with me, then to an extent, it sounds like they've already kind of decided what they're going to do.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't think you're going to stop them if that's what they want to do. But I think as a friend and as her best friend, I think you have the right to say something she might not want to hear if it's coming from a place of love, you know?
Yeah, and just a concern for her safety, and kind of leave it at that.
Yeah, and I think make it less about necessarily him and this the overall, like this whole situation, it just, I think, has a lot of red flags.
Yeah.
And you kind of frame it like that. It's like, you just got out of this really toxic relationship, and it takes time to heal from that. And I'm sure you're feeling a lot of different things, you know, as much as you might be happy to be out of it. Maybe during the holidays, you were feeling lonely and sad and feeling single and, you know, just not being happy with your relationship status. And I get that, and I empathize with that, and I understand the desire to want that. But I'm concerned that, like, you know, you were dating for a week and hanging out with his family, and like, I don't want to make sure you're jumping into something before your heart is fully healed. And then, you know, like, let's just not forget, as much as, you know, I am friends with him, you know, so I'm not trying to like, I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but like, there are these concerns. There's a reason why I don't like moved on from that relationship. And you have like, what's going to be different about this situation? And then just kind of see what she says.
Yeah.
What are you going to say to her if she's just like, hey, listen, I appreciate your thoughts, but I'm just going to date it anyways? Like, what's your plan on, and are you going to say something to him?
I'm prepared, I think, for her to tell me that she's going to do what she's going to do anyways. But I guess that's when I would want to talk to him and just kind of broach the subject of things. I mean, for now, there is the benefit of this being a long distance thing. So there wouldn't be a ton of, well, maybe they could grow some connection without that concern, but we haven't hardly talked about it at all in years, he and I. So I think talking to him about it makes me a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I understand.
But I know that if I'm concerned for her safety, I'll have to. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think you have to, because if this is affecting you, I'd understand why you wouldn't be comfortable doing that. But it would be a very selfless thing for you to do for your friend.
Yeah.
If you could. And I think if you do decide to do it with him, I think it's okay to let him know how difficult it is to have this conversation with him and how uncomfortable it makes you feel. But like, you don't want to have that conversation, but like him dating your best friend brings up a lot of old wounds that make you concerned for her. The only way he should handle that is by saying, yeah, I understand how you feel. You have the right to feel that way. And I hate myself every day for that happened. And it's something I'm I swore and committed to never do that again, because I think putting hands on a woman is, they're 100% wrong, and there's no excuse for it. And just if he gets defensive and reactive there, then I would point that out to him.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, that this is what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
You handling your anger. Like, he did it. He has to own that. And he doesn't get to just wish it away.
Yeah.
And it's a tough situation. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, thanks for talking to me about it.
No problem. Do you, I'm just, is there any thought, is there any part of you that's feeling the fact that are you feeling any guilt that they're hanging out now? Like, did she meet him through you?
Yeah.
Are you feeling things about that?
I didn't anticipate that anything was going to come of that, because my understanding is he's not her type, as she puts it. But I do think I underestimated her vulnerability level coming out of this other relationship.
Well, I wouldn't waste any energy feeling bad if you were. I guess this is the only reason why I brought it up. Like, there's nothing you can do about them meeting. And all you can do is just, I think you could just be as vulnerable as you can and as honest. And like, you seem very vulnerable right now, and this seems like a very difficult thing for you to talk about. And I think that same energy will go a long way with her. I mean, I don't know the dynamic of your friendship, but I hope there's a lot of love and respect there, and that she trusts you, and that as long as you're not like coming from a place of like, I don't want you to be happy and like jealous or bitter, and I'm not getting any of that energy from you at all.
Yeah.
That I hope that she at least has a moment of pause and just says, hey, like, if nothing else, maybe I just need to slow down with this. You're not telling her not to like explore this relationship or to cut him off completely, but you are saying like, listen, like, maybe just slow down and ask the right questions and just be hyper aware of how he reacts to disappointment and frustrations, and make sure you're putting yourself in safe situations, and whatever role she played in that toxicity in the last relationship, to work on those things she needs to work on as well. Because you are worried for her, and she is very vulnerable right now, and you just want her to be happy.
Yeah.
So I would just lead with that energy and go from there.
All right.
All right. I feel like we didn't help all that much. I don't know.
Should I talk to them together or separately? 'Cause they're wanting me to talk to them together.
What's your comfort level? I think you should have a conversation. I feel like you should have a conversation with her alone, because I don't want you to get teamed up on.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And
I think that's what I was worried about.
yeah, this is a conversation you really need to have with her, because you're better friends with her. He wasn't a part of that last relationship. So I think you can have that conversation with him together after you have it with her, but I think she needs to hear you out first without him being a part of that conversation.
Okay, yeah.
And so I would just say, hey, listen, she's your best friend, but like, I'd feel comfortable. Like, I'd like to talk to you about this, and I'm open to having conversations with both of you, but can you and I sit down and just have a conversation first?
Yeah.
It would really mean a lot to me.
Okay.
And do that.
Yeah.
And see where it goes.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. Well, take care. It's a tough situation, but you're being a good friend, and that's important. And then it's not always easy to be a great friend, but just know that you are being one, and hopefully that helps you, get through these tough conversations you're about to have.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right. Well, take care. Keep us posted.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Happy New Year.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye. That was a tough one.
Yeah. You handled it well, though. It's just like kind of.
Yeah. Amanda, what are you thinking about?
I think I'm always struck by like how, not to sound cliche, but like how pervasive like abusive and like physical situations are. And I think that's something that like exists so much behind closed doors, and like so rarely people feel comfortable talking about it. And it's
just
like,
a really
such
interesting
shame.
dynamic with her becoming friends with him again. And that friendship was the catalyst to introduce this relationship. Anyway. Heath.
Hey.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me on.
Please let my audience know all the great things that you're doing, like your coffee company, which is delicious, by the way.
Cremota Coffee, cremota.com. And we have a podcast called Zane and Heath Unfiltered.
What do you guys talk about?
We kind of just talk about our life, and whatever happened that week. We always find ourselves in situations where something funny or traumatic happens, and we kind of just hang out, talk. Me, him, and then my girlfriend Mariah and our best friend Matt is on the podcast as well. So it's just 4 people hanging out, having a couch conversation.
Well, many of you have already seen it. Check it out if you haven't.
Thank you.
Also on the gram, you're on all the socials.
Yeah, just Heath Hussar if you want to find me.
It's a good follow. Yeah.
Appreciate that. And yeah, thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's always good to see you, buddy. I hope to see more of you this year.
Absolutely.
That's my 2023 resolution.
See more of me.
See more Heath.
There we go. I like that. I don't mind that.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to send in those questions. We have a new email address for you. asknick@theviallfiles.com. So write that down. Ask Nick, same, at theviallfiles.com. Send in all things related to Ask Nick, all your texting office hour calls, things like that. Dr. Maya is with us, a behavioral scientist, to talk about all things New Year's resolutions and how we can take those resolutions and turn them into actionable habits and replicated behaviors. Should be a fun conversation. And tune in for that. Any other topics we haven't discussed we need to get into going deeper, Amanda?
The Idaho murders and discussing some of the things that are coming out. The person who is currently the prime suspect, Barbara Walters, passed away. And Amy and TJ on GMA of GMA, not on GMA, have some updates there with the TJ divorce.
We'll get into some of those as well on Thursday. So be sure to check that out. Other than that, have a great day. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching, but before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos like our Mondays Ask Nick for your favorite relationship stories and advice, and our Tuesday Bachelor recaps. See you next time.